Chapter 2, The One That Got Away, Stephanie. Tim leads Gage back through the lobby to the front door, making sure he gets on the elevator. Of course he has to scream across the lobby, "See you later, Stephanie." I used to send a shiver down my spine when he used my name. Now it makes me cringe. I hang my head, ashamed and humiliated that I even know that man. Why couldn't he just stay in the hole that he's been occupying for all these years? Tim knocks his shoulder with his, whispering something to him, pushing him towards the door. "Classy," Bobby laughs. "Now would be the best time for the floor to take me under." The elevator takes Gage away, and Tim comes back over to Bobby and me. "You okay, Steph?" Tim moves closer to me to give me a hug. "I've told him 1,000 times to stay away from you in this office." He releases me, rubbing a hand up and down my arm. "Yeah, I was just wasn't expecting to see his face ever again. Did he tell you why he was here?" "He and Ginger are on the rocks. Sounds like imminent divorce. I guess he wanted to see a friendly face. Needing comfort, maybe. I do my best to stay out of the twisted mind of my younger brother." Based upon what he said to me, it sounded like those two hellions were doing just fine. He tried to rub their sex life in my face. "Anyway, enough of that. He shouldn't come around here again. If he does, call me immediately." "Will do. By the way, Bobby and I are going to the diner for lunch around noon, if that's okay." I pose it as a question, but what will Tim do with Bobby while I'm at lunch? Tim usually eats lunch in his office and calls his wife at home. "That's perfect." Tim smiles at me and winks again. I wince at him. Thank goodness Bobby doesn't catch that unspoken exchange between Tim and me. "I'm looking forward to it." Bobby immediately spits out and smiles. Those dimples. Ugh. "Tim, you want to join us?" Hoping and knowing he is going to decline. It will make things easier, or it could make things super awkward. Tim is like my older brother. He's done more for me than for his own brother. "Thanks, but you know I like to call the wife during lunch. I brought food today. Maybe next time." "Totally understood." "Good. This will give me a chance to get to know Bobby on a personal level. Alone. I'm very curious about this stranger working in my cubicle. What's his story?" "I'll let you guys get back to work," Tim says and heads back to his office. I'll watch until he closes his door. Bobby turns to me and asks, "Does your boss always hug you?" Do I detect a little jealousy? It's a long story. Tim feels protective of me after what his brother did to me. His wife Claire is my best friend. I spent many a night at their place after. He blew up my hopes and dreams, crushed my future, made me distrustful of men. I feel the sting in my eyes and a massive lump forming in my throat. I can't do this now. Keep it together. I swallow. Let's go over a file that just came in tonight. Changing the subject, I don't want to give Gage any more of my time and attention. Wiggling my mouse to wake it up. This file was submitted by our field adjuster. Our client was T-boned in his SUV by a sedan driver. I scoot over so he can see some of the notes from the adjuster. Bobby is so close to me that I can feel his body heat mingling with the scent from his cologne, woodsy and maybe a hint of floral, intensifying the fragrance, making my head swim. I try not to sniff him like some weirdo. Taking shallow breaths isn't helping. I scoot my chair back to give him space and clear my head, summarizing the file for him. Both drivers did have to go to the hospital from the jarring motion of the accident. The hospital ordered a blood alcohol concentration test on both drivers. Our client was clean, but the other driver tested positive for alcohol. Unfortunately, the other driver did not have insurance, but thankfully ours had full coverage with uninsured or underinsured coverage. Looks like we will take care of his vehicle and hospital visit. The other driver is out of luck. He also has to go to court for the drunk driving charge. Interesting. You guys get the medical records and everything. I guess you need that to determine how much needs to be paid out. Is it common for an accident victim to have a BAC test? In this case, yes, due to the extensive vehicle damage and our client's injuries, which is weird. He purses his lips. I know, just a formality. If we find that our client is in any way intoxicated, then it can invalidate their claim. It is what it is. We don't have to pay out claims for clients that engage in dangerous behavior. It also could potentially open us up for liability. When people sign up with us, they sign an indemnification clause. It manages and limits our risk for their bad behavior. It is against the law to drive intoxicated, and therefore it is not covered under our policies. We can choose to pay out damages depending on the circumstances up to the maximum limit, but in most cases the drivers may not be covered, and we will inevitably cancel the client's coverage or raise their rates super high. It may not seem fair, but no one put the drink in their hand. There are options. Call a friend, a car, a ride-sharing service. Insurance companies do not have to pay out for intentional acts. I had no idea that document was in an insurance policy. I better look back through my insurance docs carefully, not that I drink and drive. I click a folder on my computer and open the indemnification clause doc. Sending it to the printer, I'll walk over to the copy room to retrieve the doc for him to have a copy. When you're having trouble sleeping, here's a real page turner. This is typically in with all the terms and conditions that we all fib and say that we've read and understood. The legal mumbo jumbo we all fail to truthfully acknowledge. Gotcha. I wonder if there have ever been court cases where someone actually beat the system and brought a successful suit against a company that had terms and conditions. You know, feigning ignorance about what all is contained in there. I haven't heard of any successful cases, but crazier things have happened. That is why we let the legal team fight that out. I wouldn't want to have to deal with that. Thankfully, there are limits to my responsibilities. I'm not an attorney, nor would I want to be one. Right then, my stomach decides to growl. I heard that. He smiles at me. It is time to eat. You about ready to go to lunch? I sure am. He stands up and grabs his suit coat. You may not need that where we're going. It is kind of warm out. He hangs his jacket back on his chair, stirring up his scent again, taking in a ragged breath. Good thing he is easy on the eyes and smell good. This job would be a whole lot harder. Grabbing my wallet out of my purse, Bobby is waiting outside my cubicle watching me with his chin resting on his hands, feeling a little self-conscious. Those eyes, beautiful pools of crystal blue with white and yellow flecks around the irises, avoiding his gaze. Ready? The diner is right down the street, so I figure we can just walk. No problem, you lead the way. Pressing the button for the elevator, we wait silently for its arrival. Once it arrives, he follows me on. I press the button for the lobby. A few seconds later, we are exiting the elevator, making our way across the main lobby and out onto the sidewalk. Bobby walks right next to me. If I'm being honest, I'm having to keep up with him. My legs are so short compared to his. Holding the door for me, I step inside the diner and hold up 2 fingers to the waitress. She seats us in a corner booth with a little privacy. The waitress hands us the menus and asks for our drink orders. He orders a Coke and I order sweet tea. The waitress walks away to grab our drink order. Looking over the menu, I'm going to have the cheeseburger and fries. What looks good to you? I place my menu down near the edge of the table. That sounds good. I will have to come another time and try their waffles. Do you ever come here for breakfast? Placing his menu down on top of my discarded one. I haven't thought about coming in for breakfast. I try not to get up any earlier than I have to. If you want to come here for breakfast some morning, give me advance notice. That way, I go to bed at a reasonable time. Otherwise, I'm typically no good before 8 a.m. I hope I didn't speak too soon. Hopefully he meant for me to join him for breakfast and that I'm not being too presumptuous. So you aren't a morning person, I take it? I get up every morning at 5 a.m. to read, work out, shower, and eat breakfast. Been doing that way for years. You can train your body to do anything you want it to do. Well, good for him. I am more of a night owl. I watch TV or movies until I feel tired. I watch some TV when I get home, but would rather read a good book. I wouldn't have pegged him for a reader. What kind of books are you into? Curiosity gnawing at me since he brought it up. In the morning, I read a few chapters from my Bible, then maybe a true crime novel or mystery. I have an extensive library with hundreds of books from all different genres. I read for pleasure, and I like learning new things. He stares off in the distance for a second. I can imagine a clean office with brown shelves filled with books, hardback and softback alike. Sci-fi, fantasy, self-help, mystery, religious. I wonder if he has any romance novels. If I had a library, that would probably be the genre filling my shelves. Sigh. Romance. You said that you have hundreds of books. Do you have any romance novels? He chuckles. If I do, they probably wouldn't be anything you would be interested in. There might be some romance, but the bulk of the books will be suspense or mystery. Thinking about the small shelf in my bedroom that has some old titles that haven't been cracked open in years, I can't think of the last time I opened a book that wasn't required reading. You're missing out. It is a wonderful escape. Keeps my mind off the pressures of the world and can transport you to other places. Many authors give vivid descriptions of the scenery. When I read, I can imagine what things look like, and typically it helps remember what I read. The waitress brings our drinks back to the table and sets them down. Do you guys know what you want to order? I think we'll both have cheeseburgers and fries. I want mustard and onions. What do you want on your burger, Bobby? I will have the same, to make it easy. The waitress confirms our order and heads over to the kitchen to put it in. So, Bobby, how are you liking Texas so far? Must be an adjustment from Illinois. I hope people have been hospitable to you since you've been here. So far, so good. The attitude is different than where I came from. You have been hospitable to me. I wasn't expecting to find a job where someone would invite me to lunch the first day or offer to help me unpack boxes. I haven't had a chance to meet very many people here, but you have made this move bearable. Thank you for your kindness. Tim seems like a cool guy too. Inviting him to lunch just seemed like an arbitrary decision. I had no idea that a simple gesture would make a difference to him. I'm happy to help you with the unpacking. I know that can be a big job, especially solo. Been there, done that. Of course, I never expected to have to do it on my own. You know, the whole expectation of having a spouse help. I thought Gage and I would have done it all together. Unfortunately, he chose someone else to do it all with. How long were you guys together? 5 years. We started dating in high school and got engaged after graduation. About a year in, I stumbled across his infidelity. There were whispers and rumors the whole time. But I guess I put too much faith in him and my ex-best friend. My mistake. I never would have dreamed that he would be or do something like that to me. One day, you're head over heels in love. The next day, you want to die. Don't worry, I never attempted anything. I just showed up on Tim and Claire's doorstep, heart in my hands. They were probably ready to kick me to the curb the first evening. Devastated is not even a word to describe what I felt. Sorry you had to go through that. I haven't had very many relationships, so I can't relate to what you went through. He seemed like such a gem. sarcasm thick in his last statement. I know, right? He wasn't like that in the beginning. If I remember it right, he wasn't like that even that last year we were together. Maybe I was just naive. I missed all the humongous red flags he was waving right in my face. I just hope he doesn't show back up while I'm around. Tim can usually manage his brother, but he is having marital issues that can only mean one thing. He's trying to win me back. He did a bang-up job of it today. I've picked out our china patterns and everything, shaking my head and rolling my eyes. Would you ever consider going back to him? Until this moment, I'd never even thought about what I would do if Gage came slithering back. As far as I'm concerned, Gage not only burned that bridge, he blew it up, scorched earth and all. Plus, I don't want someone with the history of being unfaithful. The trust is broken. I get it. You would be constantly suspicious, and that's no way to live. The waitress brings our food out, placing a plate in front of each of us and a bottle of ketchup. Is there anything else I can get for you guys? Maybe just a few extra napkins. She turns to retrieve the napkins. While she's gone, Bobby reaches across the table to grab my hands. I'm not expecting it. There's an immediate shock of electricity as he places my small hands in his large ones. His hands are soft and warm and maybe a little sweaty. He bows his head and thanks God for our meal and that our paths cross. I listen intently. There's so much sincerity and vulnerability. What a wonderful and safe place to be in someone's prayers. He finishes by squeezing my hands and releasing them. Bobby. Sitting here with Stephanie discussing her ex has my gut twisting. Some women assume that they can't do any better and stay in a dead-end relationship with a deadbeat guy. She seems to have a good head on her shoulders. Very smart, attractive, funny, and she carries herself well. Witnessing the tail end of their interaction, I know that she's not going to go back to him. She told me as much. What I can't figure out is why I care. Besides the fact that I would hate to be caught up in a lover's spat or worse. You know, that jealous ex-lover decides to take their feelings out on innocent people. Intimate partner violence. She claims he's harmless. However, I have to wonder. She also said that his brother could handle things. I probably would not get involved, but I also don't want to see her or anyone else hurt if the guy shows back up. Earlier, you said that Tim could handle Gage. Are you absolutely sure about that? I mean, he showed up today causing a scene. Stephanie sits quietly for a moment. I'm not sure if I've offended her or if she's processing what I said. Finally speaking, put it this way. Tim is usually able to get through to Gage. He has never done anything like that before. I will talk to Tim about it later. That's probably a good idea. I would hate for you or anyone else to get hurt because he's a little upset. His ego and pride crushed under her high heel. Changing this deep subject, keeping it in the back of my mind though. Anyway, I look forward to getting boxes unpacked and things put away. I'm so tired of hunting for things. I was thinking I could order pizza. Would that be okay? Of course, I can't wait. She flashes me a smile. Stephanie seems enthusiastic about helping me. Gage is a complete fool to ever let a woman like her go. His loss. The waitress brings back our bill. I snatch it up and she tries to grab it from me. I hold it out of her reach. I got this. Pulling my wallet out. I pull out enough for the check and the tip. I invited you to lunch. You don't have to pay, she protests. I don't mind. Standing up, I wait for Stephanie before walking to the cash register, handing the waitress the check, cash, and her tip. The waitress thanks us, and then I hold the door out open for Stephanie. For some reason, I feel like I want to reach out and touch her, but I hold back. I have to remind myself this isn't a date. She isn't mine. but she is a very petite woman. She needs protection, especially from a guy like Gage. Back at the office, Stephanie and I finish out the afternoon, going over the adjuster's report. I'm in a losing battle. Working with her is going to be a real test of my self-control. The end of chapter 2. Anyway, I know I had a lot of mess-ups there, guys, but I'm trying to work on that. This is all new for me. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.